husband, Hubert Bexte, was born and raised in an area of Germany that is now part of Poland. Bernard and Anna had 9 children, and in the trek where they had to walk 250 miles, they lost one child due to malnutrition, and the Russians were coming in, and so they fled the Russians. Hubert's dad had been asked to lead a wagon train to safety, and it was quite a distance, like a couple hundred miles or so. And they were there for a while, and then his dad was asked to go back and take care of the farms. When he got back there, he was forced to work in the timber industry and to haul arms to the Russians. And in the meantime, Anna, Oma, she and her mom and dad and the 8 children at that time left there and walked to an area in Germany where there was relatives living, and the eventual place was supposed to be safety, and it was a place where their dad could find them. So when he finally joined them, it was quite a while. He was gone for, I don't know, 6-8 months maybe. They actually moved 3 times after getting back together again. And they finally knew that they weren't going anywhere fast. And so the risk of staying was too great. So Hubert's dad planned a scheme where he was going to get his family out of East Germany. And they left all in one day, except for the son that was about to be married. They left with nothing. What was on their back? They had very little money and very little anything else. And they escaped to West Germany, and then they were airlifted out, because at that time West Berlin was like an island within the communist rule. And they were airlifted out to the refugee camp. In the refugee camp, they worked with the Catholic Church to make a trip to Canada for a new start in the spring of 1953. In Germany, they had signed a sugar beet contract. They had to work 2 years in the sugar beet contract in exchange for their passage. Came to Pitcher Butte, and they worked out their 2 years contract. Hubert's dad got a job at the PFRA site here at Arrowwood, and some of them came and worked for farmers, but gradually the whole family came to Arrowwood. I've learned all this story about the Bexte family by, even before we were married, Sunday afternoon tradition was that we would go to Oma and Opa's house for coffee and cake. And so there was always stories coming out. Oma's life was cooking, and so I learned most of my skills in cooking from her. Today we made Apple Kuchen. That was Oma's specialty. It takes two doughs to make it. A cake type dough for the base that just squeeze into the pan, and then fruit. The most favorite was apple, but she used cherry, or she used blueberry, and then a more of a shortbread type crumb for the top, and then just a drizzle of icing that's almond flavored on top.
I grew up baking a lot more with my Oma. Never made this before. Today was the first time. It's simple ingredients, yet complex idea. The way that you make it is very complex. There was no precise measurements for what or how much you put in. It's just what you have, and you just do it until it feels right, and you have to know what feeling right is.
I make the cake because it was an important part of their food, and I make it so that my grandkids know about it and will learn to make it too. I have, well, Tracey's the 3rd granddaughter now that's come and taken part in making it, so hopefully that tradition will carry on.
If someone asked me what my heritage or cultural background is, I would easily say German, because that's what I know, that's what I've grown up with, that's who I am. I personally appreciate having known all of the history that I do know, and all of the traditions and the ways of living and that kind of stuff that my older generations have passed down, because then I know what they've been through and what has happened in the past to them. In high school I learned about it, but to have the personal side of the experiences, it's a little more heart-wrenching.
I guess I've gained along the way some of that German pride. It carries on Opa.
Happy birthday, Canada!